So I know there's people that may be considering adoption who are watching this video, and I'd encourage you to really be serious about it and really pray. And if God's leading you that direction, to pursue that. And as you're going through the process, it's going to be hard and it's going to try you. It's probably the biggest thing we've ever done, even compared to leaving the U.S. and kind of going on mission. But we've probably learned as much going through that process as we have with anything else, at one single thing. Just learning about God, learning about ourselves, and learning about God's faithfulness. And there were times where it was hard, where it was sad, where we had adoptions that fell through. But God was always working things out so that Joy and Jonathan would be with us. And I'm glad it didn't work out how we thought it was going to work out to begin with. I'm glad that it worked out the way it did. It was also a process where we saw God do things that just surprised us, that floored us, where we would receive gifts from people for the financing, for the adoption that we never expected. And the way people would respond to us, people, there's always some people who think, oh yeah, they'll be generous, and then they're not, but in others that don't even have anything to give, and they're so supportive of us. And so
it's very humbling.
Yeah, it's really not just something that you do. God is doing it, but He's also doing it through the church. And so it's really a way for the church to be the church, to really support you, support its members, because you might have the ability to adopt, but not the money, but other people have the finances that can help. And then within the church, there your children are going to be raised.
Yeah, I have family members. I've had people, friends, even family members tell me, I guess they're trying, I know they care about me, I know their intentions were good, but I've had many people tell me about the pitfalls of adoption, the I guess you could say the negatives, the downsides, the dangers maybe of adoption. When we were in the adoption process, telling us, you don't know, you can't control what the child's going to be like and what you're going to do. And they told me some stories of people that have struggled. And what I want to say to that, and I'm speaking firsthand, I think especially as Americans, we want things to be easy, and we go out of the way to make things easy. We want things to be tidy and nice and perfect, but life is not really that way. And this is something the Lord called us to, and I cannot imagine having said no to this. What the last 8 years of our lives, 7 or 8 years would have been like had we said no to this, and what their lives would have been like. We spoke of those other 2 failed adoptions, but they were failed for us, but not for others. Those children are in good homes and provided for, and God meant for Joy and Jonathan to be in our home and provided for. He meant for Emily and Allison to be their sisters, and for Joy and Jonathan to be Emily and Allison's sisters, and all the growth and intention. So I speak of the hard things. There are sad parts. There are painful aspects, painful sides of adoption. But just like anything else, if you look in Psalms at the lament, it's not just people crying. It's people crying with purpose. They're crying out to God, and they are telling God, this is hard, but Lord, you are sovereign and you are in control. And there are many, countless things that you gain, that you miss out on if you say no to something just because it seems hard or it seems impossible, or because it is hard. A lot of times adoption is hard. There are tears. We've cried many tears in our adoption process, but there's purpose to them. They drove us to the Lord. The waiting is hard. The waiting is so hard, but there's purpose in it. And I remember saying I didn't want to waste the waiting. And that's when community comes into play. That's when other people in your life come apart and walk alongside you, and that's when you grow. You take it to the Lord. You look at the Psalms and you lament with the psalmist. But at the same time, in the lament, the purpose of the lament is to say, this is hard, Lord, but you are Lord, and to trust in the Lord. And so one of the things that I gained from all that and the struggles of having new children in your home is depending on the Lord and growing in that. And that's an incredible gift.
You know, we only see, kind of what's right in front of us in our life, and God knows the whole picture. And when I think about those 2 adoptions that fell through, that didn't work out, this was before we accepted the call to missions. So if we had adopted one of those other 2 children, we probably would not be able to go on the mission field, because they would have needed the medical, intensive medical care, and that would have probably disqualified us. But God brought us Joy and Jonathan, and then it was only a year after we adopted them that we were preparing to go on the mission field. And so we were able to with them, whereas with others we wouldn't. So God knew what He was doing, and so it's just a matter of trusting Him and knowing that He knows what the big picture is.